Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SuckerFree Sports Talk, your Chicago sports talk show for everything Bulls, Bears, and more without the BS. I am your host, Sam James, and on this episode, we're going to talk about the Bears' win over the Houston Texans, some of my experiences at the game. We're going to give you my picks of the week, and we're also going to talk about some Lonzo Ball and the Bulls news. But before all that, we got to talk about the Justin Fields struggles. Justin Fields continues to struggle, continues to play poorly. What is going on with Justin? I said in that week 1 game against the 49ers, he was the best player on the field in that second half, and it's all went downhill since then. I mean, since that first game, he hasn't gotten any better. Second game against the Packers was pretty bad, and then this game, it was kind of the culmination of everything, and he just did not look good. And to be frank, he sucked. He was bad. Being at the game, watching him, he was bad. Right now, he just isn't making reads. He isn't a good pocket passer. He's getting sacked too much. And, the fanboys and the media and the national narrative is, well, the weapons and the offensive line. And you got guys on ESPN saying he should request a trade and all this nonsense. And that's what it is. It's nonsense. Right now, Justin Fields has to play better. And he isn't making the reads. He's missing wide open receivers. That first interception he had, Cole Kmet was wide open. He just didn't make a good pass. He got interception. And on that play, he had Dante Pettis wide open down the sideline. If he would have saw him and gave him a good ball, that would have been a touchdown. So right now, he's hurting the team. And if you're Matt Eberflus, you got to look at this and say, when do I have to pull the trigger here and put Trevor Siemian in? And I know a lot of people around Chicago, they don't want to hear that. They say you got to give Justin Fields more time, and this year is all about Justin Fields' development, and we have to see if he's the guy or not. But as Herm Edwards, the coach of the Jets, once said, you play to win the game. Hello, you play to win the game.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
And if Fields isn't doing it, if he can't play at a competent level, then you have to look at the guy on the bench. And Trevor Siemian has played in this league. He started games for the Saints. He's been a good quarterback in this league. Not a great quarterback. Not a top-notch quarterback, but better than what Justin Fields is right now. And that's just the matter of truth. And I'm not going to give you this fanboy talk. I know a lot of people in Chicago like Fields. They all wear his jersey. Everybody at the game was wearing his jersey, and I get that, and I like Justin too, and nobody wants to see him succeed more than me. And I'll say I was wrong if he comes out next week and plays better. But right now, I just do not see it from him. He is not making the throws. He is not a good NFL passer. And these are his stats this year. Through 3 games, 3-game sample size, his stats are 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions for 297 yards, with a QB rating of 50. QB rating of 50, that is so bad. That is piss poor. That is not an NFL QB. So I know he adds a lot with his legs, and I do get that, and that's something that a lot of guys don't have. On Sunday, he made a couple good first down runs in that first half, and that helped the Bears out. But in this league, if you can't pass the ball, if you can't make reads, if you can't hit guys when they're open, then you can't play. And on that second interception, it was worse than the first one because he predetermined where he was going with that ball. Before the snap, he knew he was going to throw that ball to Darnell Mooney. And on that play, he had at least 3 other guys wide open. The outside receivers, he had both guys running those flag routes, and they were both wide open. And he decided he's going to throw it to Darnell Mooney no matter what. And it got picked off. Now, against the Texans, they're one of the worst teams in the league. You might win that game in spite of Justin Fields. But against some of these better teams, Packers, Patriots, even like the Cowboys, the defense isn't going to let you get away with that stuff. And they're going to make you pay. So he's going to have to be better. I know Matt Eberflus, he has a lot going on. He's got the GM in his ear. He's got the fans in his ear. And he's going to have to make a tough decision here eventually. Because if Fields keeps playing like this, he's going to have to put his ass on the bench. Because you play to win the game.
Hello? You play to win the game.
no matter what. Since the beginning of time, that's how it's been. So Justin Fields isn't cutting it right now, and he's going to have to be better. But that being said, the running game really stepped up on Sunday. It was so good to see. David Montgomery went down in that first quarter. It looked scary. It looked like an ugly injury. A lot of people were worried. And then Khalil Herbert came in and absolutely dominated. So good to see from Khalil. He is the stiff arm king. Move over, Derrick Henry. Khalil Herbert is in here, and he is the stiff arm king. That stiff arm is deadly. Seemed like every single run he has one of these stiff arms where he just lays the guy on his face and gets 10 or 15 yards. He had the big run. He got in the end zone. He's determined. He's fast when he gets in the open field. Really good to see it from Khalil, and it's coming out now that David Montgomery injury wasn't as serious as it looked. So Bears got a pretty good 1-2 punch here. Juice Herbert, David Montgomery, these guys look dynamite. I really like Montgomery too. He had that bad first game, but played better in that week 2 against the Packers. So Bears got a pretty good 1-2 punch here. And that's the other thing. Everybody wants to say about Fields not having the weapons and the receivers and the line. Right now, the Bears are running the ball at a very efficient level. I think Herbert had like 157 yards last week. The team had over 250 yards rushing as a whole. So that's your number one weapon right now. And that's the number one weapon a quarterback can have, because if teams have to start defending the run and have to start stacking the box, that's just going to open everything up on a passing level. So everybody's saying, Fields doesn't have the weapons. He's got a run game. He's got a dynamite run game. That offensive line is really pounding the rock right now. Really good to see from the running game. And then the defense. The defense made plays when they had to. The first pick by Eddie Jackson, I think Vildor broke that up and got it to Eddie. Really good to see from Eddie continuing to make plays. When Eddie Jackson has an interception for the Bears, I think they're 11-0. So that's a good sign right there. And then they had a couple other fumbles. They made the tackles when they had to. Some of the run game still hurting the Bears. That defensive line isn't getting the penetration against the run. Some big holes were opening up there. But other than that, made plays when they had to, made stops on third down when they had to. Roquan was playing all over the field. Really good to see from the defense. And Matt Eberflus won that game with some good moves there too. I mean, you look at that end of the second half, and there's 40 seconds left. Bears get the touchdown, or Bears get the first down, and they're on like the 25-yard line, and Eberflus doesn't call the timeout. Now, I'm at the game screaming, call timeout, call timeout. Everybody around me saying call timeout. And I thought it was a really dumb move at the time. I was really pissed about it. But in retrospect, it was the right move. Because right now he doesn't trust Justin Fields. And who knows, if they go for it there, maybe he throws an interception and the Texans get some late points. So good to see from Matt Eberflus. He's coaching a winning team right now. Bears are 2-1. For everything the national media said about the Bears, they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. They'll be lucky to win 3 games. They're 2-1 right now. So only up from here, I think. We got to get that quarterback position going, though. And if Fields isn't cutting it, look for Trevor Siemian. And I mean that. All right, my studs and duds from the week are as such. Stud number 1 is a no-brainer, Khalil Herbert. Like I said, he ran hard. He has that lethal stiff arm, constantly using it, got in the end zone. Really good to see from Khalil. If Montgomery's going to be out here for a week or two, we got a good guy in there. I really like Khalil Herbert. The second stud, I'm going with the entire offensive line. They got that run game going. They opened up those holes. Tevin Jenkins continues to play good. I still don't understand this rotating guards thing that the Bears are doing. They're putting Lucas Patrick in there every other series. If you're going to rotate him in there, put him in for Whitehair, or put Jenkins at right tackle, because Borum isn't cutting it right now in the pass game. But they're all blocking good in the run game. So I'm putting the whole offensive line as my second stud of the week. Third stud of the week is Roquan Smith. Way to bounce back, Roquan. He was one of my studs the first week. Second week, he was one of my duds because he had a bad game against Green Bay. And then he bounced back this week to be a stud of the week again, all over the field. 16 tackles, 16 total tackles. And then he had the interception at the end of the game to seal the deal. Really good to see from Roquan. Played all over the field. Way to bounce back, Roquan. And then my fourth stud of the week is going to be Cairo Santos. First week of the season, he was one of my duds. Now, Cairo, he made his field goals this week. He had a 47-yarder. I think he had like a 51-yarder, and then he had the field goal at the end to seal the game. Really good to see from Cairo. It was kind of interesting during the game. Texans got the ball there in the fourth quarter with about a couple minutes left, and then you kind of saw the rain picking up a little bit. And it was kind of like the weather gods playing in the Bears' favor again from that Week 1 game. And Davis Mills threw that interception, and then the Bears decided to take the knee again. Some people will argue that. I wanted them to run the ball into the end zone, but they decided to take the knee and take the gimme field goal. And the wind started picking up like 10 seconds before he started to kick the field goal. And it was picking up, and everybody was kind of looking around like, oh shit, the wind's picking up here. And then like 2 seconds before he kicked it, the wind totally died down. So the weather guys are kind of helping the Bears out here during this season. My 4 duds of the week go as such. Number 1, Kyler Gordon. Kyler continues to struggle, continues to give up big pass plays. Some of those third downs where the Bears gave up like 30, 40 yards on 2 third downs there, Kyler was in the vicinity. I don't know if it was zone or man coverage. Kind of looked like man. He's getting lost out there. They got him playing the nickel. He's not tackling good. He's not a physical enough player right now. And if I was Matt Eberflus, I'd look to moving him to the outside. It looks like he excels on the outside as a corner. Put Vildor as the nickel, or Lamar Jackson or somebody, because Kyler's not getting it, cutting it right now as that nickel corner. He's not physical enough. Too many missed tackles. Too many missed coverages. Kyler's going to have to be better, or they're going to have to find somebody else to put in there. My number 2 dud is an obvious one. It is Justin Fields. Justin, you got to play better, man, or else the team's going to look for somebody else to put in here. Trevor Siemian. Missed passes. He's not making the reads right now. He's not hitting open receivers. He looks frustrated. He doesn't look confident. And you can't have these excuses. You can't blame the O-line. You can't blame the receivers. Everybody is clamoring for more weapons around the league. Everybody wants more weapons. But you got this run game, and that's your number 1 weapon right now. And I said, more bootlegs and this and that, and that can only do so much. I mean, they had the one bootleg on Sunday, and as soon as Justin rolled out, the guy hit him right in the face. You can't really run it there when you have a DB coming off the edge like that. They're getting open receivers. He's just not hitting them right now. So Justin's going to have to be better. Nobody wants to see him succeed more than me, and I'll be the first to say I was wrong about him if he does, but he's going to have to be better. My 3rd dud of the week, Angelo Blackson. He did have that tip pass at the end of the game to seal the game, but he's the number 1 guy right now for the Bears on the D-line, and he's not making enough plays in that run game. And, what could you expect really coming in this year when you lose Eddie Goldman, you lose Bilal Nichols, you lose Akeem Hicks, you lose Khalil Mack? You knew they were going to struggle a little bit against the run, and I thought that was going to be one of their bigger problems. Now the linebackers have picked up the slack there, Roquan, Nick Morrow. But Angelo Blackson's going to have to be better. And the Bears, a lot of people are saying they're going to have to look on the waiver wire for receivers. To me, they're going to have to look for a trade or a waiver wire guy for D-line because they're just inept of talent right now in the D-line. And then my 4th dud of the week, Sam Mustipher. What are you doing, Sam? You can't snap the ball. The first play of the game, he's snapping it off his ass, snapping it off his nuts. I don't know what he's doing. We can't be having that shit. You're going to give up a fumble one of these days. Justin's doing a good job of getting on top of those balls, but that could cost you a game here going forward. I don't know why he can't snap the ball. You saw the problems last year. He is doing a decent job run blocking, but as soon as Lucas Patrick is ready to snap the ball, you're going to have to get him in there because we can't have these fumbled snaps from Mustipher that he keeps going with. So Mustipher's going to have to be better there. Some of my experience at the game, it was a fun game. I had a blast. It was like a last-minute thing. Me and my wife, we did the tailgate, had a blast. All in all, it was a good experience. Took the shuttle to the game, from our parking area to the game. Everything was fun. The only thing I would complain about really is the bathroom situation. I mean, I was waiting in line for like 20 minutes to take a piss. That was kind of annoying. But other than that, nothing was too expensive. Beer wasn't too expensive. Game was fun. They had this cool young girl. She was like the DJ of the game before the game. We were having fun. She was playing like Jeezy, Gotti, like all this good stuff. So that was fun. Field looked good. The field condition, I don't know what they had to do there. Matt Eberflus requested a different type of grass. They went from that Kentucky bluegrass to some Bermuda grass or something. And it seems to be holding up just fine. So I don't know why it took them so long to figure that out, but it did, and conditions look good. So that was good to see. Dick Butkus was there. He came on the big screen and gave a little pep talk to the team. That was nice to see. He did mention that the Bears were moving to Arlington Heights. I don't know if the city really liked that too much, but he pretty much said that was a done deal to the stadium. And that was kind of the vibe I got the whole game. You know, it was kind of like a bittersweet nostalgia thing. Just the whole area, the skyline in the background, the outdoor event. You're not going to have that in a couple years. And being there is a little bittersweet that this might be one of the last outdoor games at Soldier Field, you know, I'll ever be at. But all in all, it was a good experience, really cool, really good to be there for a Bears win. That's kind of why I went, because they were playing the Texans, and I knew they'd probably win. So it was a really fun game, really fun event. All right, with that being said, let's get into my picks of the week. Last week was another rough week for me. I went 1-2. Las Vegas, I'm done with them, man. Raiders, they're 0-3. I don't know what's going on there. I guess those bad draft picks are finally starting to catch up to them. The Chiefs lost to the Colts. That was a big surprise for a lot of people. You saw Mahomes getting in an argument with the offensive coordinator there. Colts bounced back after a rough start to the season. I did win that Detroit Lions game. They ended up covering against the Vikings. Even though they were winning most of the game, they ended up losing, but they did cover. But that being said, I am 5-4 overall, so I am still above 500. And with this week, I am going with the Jacksonville Jaguars plus 6.5 in Philly. Now, Philly's hot. Jalen Hurts, that receiving core, that defense, they're one of the best teams in the league right now. They're 3-0. But don't sleep on Jacksonville. They put it on the LA Chargers last week. Herbert was playing, so that's not an excuse. They dominated them. I think they beat them by like 16 points. And then the week before that, they laid it on the Colts. They shut them out. So watch out for Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson. This is a Doug Peterson revenge game. Don't forget about that revenge. He's going into Philly where they fired him after winning the Super Bowl. I like Jacksonville here, plus 6.5. My second game, I'm going with the Cleveland Browns, minus 1.5 at Atlanta. Now, Atlanta won last week against the Seahawks, but the Seahawks aren't very good. Geno Smith, he threw a bad interception at the end of the game. Cleveland's coming off a big, dominating win against the Steelers last Thursday night. I really like Cleveland. That run game, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Brissett, their quarterback. A lot of people didn't expect him to be doing this good. He looks dynamite. Really good completion percentage. He's not just a game manager. He can go out there and win you a game. I like the Cleveland Browns here, minus 1.5. And my third game, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens, plus 3 against what most people think is the best team in the league, the Bills. The Bills had that loss against Miami. And Josh Allen didn't look as good as he's looked the first couple weeks. And watch out for Baltimore and Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has kind of overtaken Josh Allen as the MVP favorite. John Harbaugh, that team is always prepared against these big games. They're not scared. They're going to go in there and cover the spread, and I think they're going to win this game. So I got Baltimore plus 3 in Buffalo against the Bills. That's my 3 picks of the week for this week, and then we're going to segue into some Bulls talk. And the Bulls had their media day the other day. Everybody looked good. They had their fresh haircuts, fresh jerseys, excited to get the Bull season going. But the main topic of discussion around the Bulls is Lonzo Ball. Like I said on my first episode, don't expect Lonzo to be ready at the start of the season. And now it comes out that he's getting another surgery on that left knee. I don't know what is going on here. He's getting an arthroscopic debridement, whatever the hell that means. Saying he'll be 4 to 6 weeks and then they'll reassess the injury. I mean, going back to last year, he had that meniscus tear, and I don't know what happened there with that surgery. Never got healthy again last season, and then he's been out this whole time in the summer not playing, and now he's getting a surgery 1 week before training camp starts. I mean, maybe he needs to be on that show on TLC Botched, where they have the men and women who've been massacred by plastic surgeons, because something went wrong with his surgery there. His surgery got botched, that first surgery. I don't know what else to say. And a lot of people are mad because why is he getting the surgery now 1 week before training camp? Why didn't he get the surgery 3 months ago? Now, the GM, AK, he came out and said, well, surgery should be a last option. And I agree with that. And one of my theories is in professional sports, I think they turn to surgery too much. You never know what's going to happen when you go into somebody's body and start messing with shit. And, I know he had the partially torn meniscus, but maybe he didn't need that surgery. And you look at it all around the NFL and the NBA. Even last week, I saw Mac Jones. He had a high ankle sprain, and they're talking about he may need surgery on an ankle sprain. I mean, what the hell are they going to do, unsprain it? But didn't work out for Lonzo. I feel bad for him. He was on NBC Sports talking about it. Says he can't run, he can't jump, and even like household stuff like walking up the stairs, he's having discomfort. So they're going in there again. I guess the surgery is like to clean up some cartilage, clean up some loose bones in his knee, but don't be surprised if you don't see Lonzo this whole season. And I hate to say it, Lonzo, like I said, he seemed like the catalyst for this team last year. When he was playing good, the Bulls were playing good. Don't be surprised if you don't see him. This isn't good. When I heard about the news, my heart kind of dropped. I feel for Lonzo. I know he loves the game. But other guys are going to have to step up now. And I said, I didn't mention this in the first episode. One guy that the Bulls have now is Goran Dragic. And next week or the week after, I'm going to give a whole season outlook on the Bulls. But Goran Dragic's going to have to step up. Don't be surprised if you don't see him starting at point guard for the Bulls. That's part of the reason why he signed with the Bulls, because they told him he was going to get some good playing time. I know they got Dosunmu, they got Kobe White, Caruso, but Dragic has the experience. He's a good player. He played pretty good for the Nets last year, so other guys are going to have to step up. And then, the other guys, like I said, Vucevic, you can't have the cold start that he had last year. I don't know what was going on last year. Seemed like he couldn't make a shot. Couldn't even make a layup to start the season. He kind of got better as the season went on. His numbers are good. 18 points, 10 rebounds. He'll give you that. He's consistent. But like I said, I don't want to see him shooting threes so much. Last year, he couldn't hit a three some games. Some games he'll hit 2 in a row, and then he'll miss the next 5. Some games he'll go 0 for 4. Get on the post. Get Vucevic the ball in the low block. That's where he's most effective. And then guys like Pat Williams and Zach LaVine, they're going to have to take that next step in their career. Especially Pat. I don't want to put the pressure on Pat Williams. He's a nice guy. He's a soft-spoken guy. But we're expecting a lot from you this year. And he's got the athleticism. He's got the tools. He just has to put it together here. He's got to be more aggressive. You got to bring out that dog in Pat Williams. And I do believe he has it in him because I've seen it before from him. So Pat's going to have to step up. Other guys are going to have to step up. Zach's going to have to take the next step in his career and be a leader and be effective game in and game out. And maybe, DeMar, you can't expect DeMar to have the same season he had last year. He had the MVP run last year. He kind of cooled off towards the end of the season, but maybe DeMar is going to have to take more of a facilitator role this year. And because you got to get guys like Pat Williams and Zach LaVine open. You got to get them on the angles. And maybe that's where the Bulls are best served with DeMar as a facilitator, because your best facilitator, Lonzo, like I said, don't expect to see him this year. All right, so that's the Bulls. Like I said, we're going to get into more Bulls talk the next couple weeks. I'm going to give you a whole season outlook. And I want to bring in a guest in here, a friend of mine who's a writer for a MLB website, to talk some MLB season wrap-up, some Cubs, some White Sox, and some of my problems with the MLB in today's game. But with that being said, like always, if you're going to talk sports, make sure to always keep it sucker-free.